要吗？没关系，那就直接从我看。Okay, hi everyone. Thank you for joining us today. So I'll repeat what I just said again. So since our last session in March, the pandemic has continued to spread throughout the world, and Tzu Chi volunteers everywhere have been working hard to provide aid to those in need. But apart from PPE and food aid distributions, what more can we do to ensure the peace and safety of our future? Today, I'm really honored to welcome two special guests who have taken their time out from their busy schedule to share with us on what each one of us can do to change the world for the better. So for today's session, we've actually switched our order around. We'll be starting with Dr. Carmen Long, who is in Mozambique at the moment, and then we will go to Malaysia to listen to Dr. Eddie Chan. So first of all, Dr. Long studied medicine in the UK and was working there as a doctor. So what made her give up her comfortable life in the UK to go to Mozambique? And together, how can we help transform Africa with our choices? So let's now welcome Dr. Long.
Very, very grateful to Sister Pecker for inviting me to give a sharing through Zoom while I'm in Mozambique. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all Tzu Chi families across the globe, wherever you are. It's a pleasure to meet you through Zoom and through YouTube, even though we've not really seen each other. It's a very special privilege, I would say, that I'm here today in Mozambique, sharing the story of the Mozambicans and our volunteers here. And last year, when I came here for the first time, I've never thought that I would be here again and given the permission or the blessing from Master to be able to continue my mission here in Mozambique. It all started from a very naive wish and a vow that I've made in 2018 when I went back in November. And when I met Sister Dailey, Sister Denise, who is the Mozambique person in charge here for the very first time. And I told her that I would like to come here to work as a doctor. A very pure wish that I've made without thinking, but it speaks the true thing that I wanted from the bottom of my heart. And of course, after that, there was lots of other doubts and challenges and difficulties that came up to my mind and say, are you serious that you want to do this? But I always reminded myself that the beginning, the nature of when I made this vow and this picture reflects what I wanted to the most as a doctor. And so I'm here today to tell you the story of the Africans and how by what we do in our daily activities, but the food that we eat, is able to help the Africans here, which is a few thousand miles away from where you are. So that's how the story starts from myself, and I would like to share this journey to everyone across the globe. So everything begins, and probably most people started knowing Mozambique from what happened last year. Which is the Cyclone Idai, and that is the first time I stepped foot here in Mozambique as well. Cyclone which wiped out the central regions, caused severe floods in most part of the Sofala province, which is the central region, and a few 100,000 of people were displaced from their home. And this is one of the major roads that connects Mozambique to the other countries like Zimbabwe and Malawi. And also it cuts off the supplies for the rural area from the city. So there were people after the cyclones were displaced from home, but they were stranded in the rural area and they were unable to get any help until helicopters or planes came to relief. So in that time, when I first arrived, I was stunned to see all the damages in Mozambique. But my first impression when I was there was it reminded me of the Three Little Pigs. If everyone was aware or remember the story where the three little brothers was building a house, And the oldest brother was building this with a straw bale, and of course, it didn't last very long. And that's exactly what the people in Mozambique lives in a rural area. Don't you think that this hut and the one that you see in the picture looks similar? And that's exactly what they live on. Of course, some who are a bit more fortunate will have would be able to build, like the third brother, a brick house, but majority of them live in this. So what happens when a big bad wolf called Idai came to Mozambique last year? It blew off all the huts they have and the houses, and it went to shattered in pieces. These are still the ones that is less damaged because we are still able to patch it up with whatever they can find, plastic bags, plastic foams, anything, or just a wood, and then just to cover it with whatever you have. But there are more places where the whole hut it's completely destroyed, that they have no place to sleep. We've heard different stories of people where they, they they have no proper structure of a house, so they cannot put the mosquito net on top of it, so they cover the mosquito net on herself in order to prevent mosquito bites, but that's not going to be any help. And so since the cyclone, she was unable to sleep for about a month until we came to help her. So these are all day-to-day stories that we hear last year. And we also go visit different schools. And this is the school that they study on. I don't know if we should call this a school, because this is just a few wooden stakes sticking up with the zinc plate. And that's what they call school. It's very crowded, it's very hot, and it's not a proper environment where you can learn. But this is, again, a privilege to be able to go to school, because there are children who do not even have the basic privilege to go to school because they have other more important responsibility, which is to carry water or to fix their home or to even cook or looking after their younger siblings, because the parents are either working or they've lost their parents from the cyclone. So all the stories are very common, and we see students who are able to go to school, but they do not have the exercises book, and they do not have the right stationaries. I recall myself that never in my life when I was a student in primary school that I've ever used such a short pencil, and I've never treasured my stationery as much as they do, because I can easily get all this in replacement. If I lose one, I can buy another one. And why do I need to use such a short pencil? But to them, this is precious, and this is the only thing they have. Today, I'm not here to tell you how poor the people are, because the story go worse from one to another. The further we explore into the villages, from half an hour away from the city, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, we see people getting poorer, more devastating, and more difficult. So there was a phrase in Mozambique that we use, that there's no poorest. You cannot find the poorest people, because the more you explore, you find the poorer they get, and the more devastating their living condition is. So, and we have seen so many videos, images, and we have heard a lot of stories from Mozambique, from South Africa, everywhere. But we know that people are living in hardship, living in difficult moments. So what is more important is to know what we can do to help them, and how we can transform their life, as what Master vows for us to do. Transforming the fate of Africa is what Master made, and she said this is her last vow that she wants to do. So, and when I first heard of this, and seeing all the challenges of the people here, I do ask myself, transforming the fate of Africa is a big mission. Africa, Mozambique has a GDP counting from backwards, it's the number 7, and it was number 8 last year. so the year before and after Cyclone Idai, it drops to 7, below Malawi, and it became one of the poorest country that city is helping. How can we transform the people here? And I have a doubt. But now being here the third time in Mozambique, seeing how the Mozambican volunteers work so diligently and dedicatedly for the people in their own country, I start to realize that this is no longer a myth, no longer a dream. This is something that is possible. And we'll see how. First of all, we all know the story of Shea, and it's also one of my favorite stories. Even though many people have heard about it, I still would like to share about it because it shows how resilient and how tough the Mozambicans are. This is a girl who was born from a tree. When Idai came middle of the night, this poor parent who lives in an area without electricity and without water, has no means of communication. So they were unaware that a deadly cyclone was coming, so that they were not prepared. So when it came middle of the night, when the flood rushed into their home, they rushed out to save their life. And this heavily pregnant mom climbed out to a tree to run away for survival. And this is a time when Shea decided that it is time to come to see this world during Cyclone Idai. Shea means flood, and that's why the father named her Shea. So Shea was born from a tree. Mother, after giving birth, stayed on a tree for a day, and then they got down and waited at the roadside for the rescue team to come, but they only came 5 days later. So in her confinement period, the first 5 days, she survived through drinking water by the roadside, and that is just by scoop, where her husband lit some fire to heat the water so that she could drink boiled water, and that's how she survived. But despite that, Shea survived Cyclone Idai. She grew up a strong young baby, and she's able to crawl. And then we visited her in March, the 1-year anniversary of Cyclone Idai, which is also her 1-year-old birthday. And seeing her crying, seeing her laugh, seeing her walking, it was just so precious to see how resilient and how tough Mozambicans are, and being through such a difficult period, and they were able to grow so strong. And that is the reason why we should help them, because they have never given up trying to live a better life and trying to survive. So we, as the fortunate people who has everything we want in this world, should take a step back and come and see how they live and whether there's anything we could share to give them a hand. So how these people were able to survive, how we can transform the fate of Shea, so that when she grew up, she no longer has to live in the same hut that the family was living. It's a challenging task and mission, but seeing how our own Mozambican community volunteers has changed their life made me realize that it is possible to help transforming the life of the Africans, and how we can do this. The one thing that Master teaches all the time, which is Dharma. I've seen volunteers not only learning the Dharma by heart and keeping it in their heart, they are also walking the Dharma lineage and putting it into actions, and not only saving their own life, but also influencing other people they have met. And here's the story of our volunteers. When I first met Shayla, and she's a very tough woman, and I thought she's the one who has all the administrative tasks. But what surprised me was how she learned master teaching so thoroughly and is able to share it to the villagers when she do distribution. In the portable bait distribution to Da'ai village in December last year, I was very surprised to hear what she shared to the villagers. So she said, "Dear villagers, the things that we own in this world are impermanent. including this bait that we are giving to you today. Because there will be a day that we will all pass. And when that day happens, we won't be able to carry anything with us when we leave. So do you hear that the vovo, which is grandma, who is next to you, do you hear her cry? Do you hear her weep? Have you ever cared for her? Have you ever cared for the people around you? And of course, people will say no, or they remain silent. So she continues to say, so let's all learn today to share what we have and to love people around you. Why did she say such things? It's because in Mozambique there isn't a culture of sharing because people are so poor. I don't have anything to share, and also there is a culture of afraid of worrying that you might lose things. So when we would distribute things, it's really hard to sometimes tell people that you need to queue up because by nature they know that if they do not fight for it, they might lose it. So we always try to educate people that we have enough materials, don't worry, please queue up and try and educate them. So every time with all this distribution, we try and educate them, we try and teach them the principles of masters, Buddhism teaching, all this we try to incorporate into our distribution. And so they learn, so that they know that you need to learn to share, you need to learn to love other people. So I was very surprised when I hear what Shayla said, because um, this is simple, but also a core thing of Buddhism. And being able to share such a high quality or in-depth teaching, she definitely amazed me. Then one day, she told me that she enjoyed reading a book from Master. So I was surprised, because I wanted to learn from her. Well, what do you read from Master? And when she showed me, I was really stunned because she showed me the book that she reads every day. She said she kept in her bag. Is the Sutra on Infinite Meaning. She said she learned so much in this book. I don't know how many of you online has flipped through this book and read this thoroughly. But when I met Shayla, when she showed me this photo, shamefully speaking, I have not flipped open this book, even though I have it with me. And I have not read the Sutra of Infinite Meaning. Even though I could read very well Mandarin and English, I've never touched it. So it's really embarrassing that we could understand master teaching easily, but we're not appreciating, we're not really absorbing the teaching that master wants to give us. Whereas people who has limited English are so dedicated in learning and they're so desperate for the knowledge. So it really touches me. And so I started flipping and I started reading this book. And in the last few months, I've been reading it repeatedly while in Mozambique. And I do find, and I do understand why Master thinks this is the most important sutra for her, because there are wisdom in it that will help you sail through a lot of difficulties in moments of life, but we really need to digest it properly in order to use it as an equipment for you to overcome a lot of difficulties. Not only Sheila, who reads the sutra, we have another volunteer. His name is Paolo, and another great story, and also very great inspiration to myself. Matushira, it's where we'll be building our Da'ai village in the next couple of years. We first approached Matushira in Idai, and that's how Paolo came to know about us. He told us before he met Siti, before he met Master, he's a person who's very close. He doesn't smile, he doesn't speak to people, and he doesn't care what is wrong with other people's life. He only cares for himself. But after knowing Master and after learning the teaching of giving is better than receiving, and learning that we should care and love for one another, he changed his life. He started opening up his heart to people, and he started reaching out to help other people as well. And not only that, he started helping out in our Great Love farm, which is a farm donated by one of the grandma, for us to cultivate in this piece of land. So we told Paulo whether he could help us out with this, and he said yes. And we didn't really give him much instruction how he should do. We just leave it for him to manage. And to our surprise, when we went to visit in March, he recruited 1,000 volunteers, and within Matushira itself, from 10 different biros. And he organized them to come and work on this farm in rotation. When we came this time to visit the farm, he showed us this is the schedule that he did, written by hand, very clear schedules that, and this is from village number 1, village number 2, which is the biro, and then what is the shift, and what did they do in the morning, and what did they do in the afternoon. And of course, with him working so hard in this farm, and he's there every day. This time we came back in last week when we visited the farm. It's all green. You know, I'm a city girl, so I've never been to a farm, and I was so happy to see all these greeneries in front of me, and I could see all these big, juicy vegetables that is ready to be harvested, and all the 1,000 volunteers who rotate their work. We asked them, why? Why do you come and work in this farm? Because we are not giving you anything. We're also not paying you. Then they say that's because a month ago, when we came for Idai Cyclone 1-year anniversary blessing ceremony, we taught them that that giving, giving is more important than receiving, and you need to give in order to receive. And we also taught them, the person who is able to give is actually one who is the most blessed. So we do not always think about receiving. We should start to think about giving other people. And then we also did a small play where volunteers acted how one person could give without money. So you can give by giving the time, helping an old lady, or giving somebody a shelter. These are all giving. So we taught them this is what we should learn. So they say because of that, they thought they should start to learn how to give. So they gave the time to the farm, and that's not a lot. And look at how this has turned into one big piece, 2 hectares land of vegetable. And all these vegetables, we're not giving it to the volunteers who came, who are also poor. We asked them, so now this salad is ready to be harvested. What should we do? And Paulo say we should give it to the vovo who is in the Dai village, who struggles to work and fights and struggles to eat. So we told him, okay, now lead us the way and show us where should we go. So he brought us to the village and showed us who the vovo are, and he donated this to them. This is truly touching because I could understand when I spoke to Paulo, I could understand why he doesn't care about other people, because he's 24. He has a family of 8 to look after. His parents died young, so he was left with 4 young siblings to look after, and he has 2 young children of the age of a few months old and a 2-year-old. So, and he doesn't have a job, but they live on the small farm they have in the house. He doesn't have a phone, and in his house doesn't have electricity, and also he has to get water from the river or from the well. So of course he's not going to feel happy. Of course he's not going to smile, because there's really nothing that he could be happy of. And of course he doesn't need to care for other people, because his life is also difficult. But what we gave him, if we have given him today regular money or rice, and we are only just helping him to eat, but we're not opening his heart. Whereas today we give him master's teaching, and master teaching enriches his heart. And when that happens, when his heart is open, and when he realized that I need to help other people, that is how he transformed himself from one to infinity. And he's able to bring 1,000 volunteers to help other people. When I asked him, Paulo, why are you doing this? I'm not giving you money and I'm not giving you the vegetables that you planted. Why are you doing this? And he said, it's not about money, it's about love. When he said this, I feel disgusted by myself for even asking this question. How can I raise the idea of money when to them it is so pure? To him, I have enough money. Well, I don't have enough money, but I have enough food because I have my own farm, so I don't need this, so I can give it to other people. So pure and so clean. And then that's our volunteer. So don't talk about money. This is all polluted. So I want to show you a video of how they of the farm when we have a video conference with Master and they decided to make a song for them. So I'd like to show you this video. Yeah, so that's a video of our farm in Matsushira. Now I'd like to take you back to another story, back to Maputo, of our sister, Sister Thelma, how her life was transformed from the teaching and also from the help from Susie. So this is where she lives. Our volunteers are in hardship as well, but they're able to reach out to other people. And Sister Thelma moved to the central region there, near Matanda, after Cyclone Idai. She made a vow to Master that she said she's willing to move to the central region to help other brothers and sisters because what she had learned in cities and has enriched her life and transformed her life. So she wanted to spread the same thing to other people so that they know that their life is not in hardship and they're able to still overcome difficulties. Now, Sister Thelma, who's able to speak in such wisdom words, had a very difficult life before. And her husband died young, and therefore the family thinks that she was a curse to the family, and therefore the husband died early. So she received a lot of abuse verbally and physically from the in-laws. And so she had a very hard time and she never felt happy. But after knowing Suzy, after that, she's been going out to reach out to other people who has worse condition than hers, and her life has changed. And not only that, she feels contented, and that's most important. With this hut that she's living, this was we helped her build this one about a year ago, and she was very, very grateful for just a small hut, and that she sleep on the floor. And she says she's truly thankful for Suzy Foundation for what she has. And because she moved to the central regions and last year, she received cash for work. And when she received cash for work, she was able to use this money to buy block. And you can see all these blocks that is laying on the ground in Mozambique for the poor people. The way that they build houses is they buy block by block. I have some money, I buy 2 blocks. I have some money, I buy a few more blocks. And through time, she gathered, this is all gathered after several months of saving. And she now wished to build a house that is strong enough to withstand strong wind. Because when she's in central region, the son who's living in this hut by himself, who's 8 and 14, there was time when the strong wind blew off the roof, and also nighttime. They lit candle and they were afraid that they might burn the hut. So through cash for work, she's, from by giving her heart to the foundation and helping other people, she's able to receive cash for work. So she's able to build a house for herself and a family, and she's able to continue to reach out to other people. And we have asked her again, why do you want to do this? Because even without money, she's willing to come every day to Suzy home. She said, because I've never felt happier with what I receive right now, and that's the teaching from Master. So I want the same thing to be told, to be shared to other brothers and sisters, so that they know that the life is not in suffering, they can still change. So Master said that, for Buddhism, for all sentient being, which is her vow and her mission. And she told us in a meeting that you all should know by now that the 6 words for Buddhism and for all sentient beings. For all sentient beings, I have done a lot. And for Buddhism, I haven't done enough. So I need all your help to do this in Buddhism. When I first heard of this sharing, it was very it's a bit stressful, because for Buddhism, what should I do for Buddhism? I don't know, because Buddhism sounds so heavy on the shoulder. But then when I'm here, when I see what our volunteers are doing for Buddhism, everything that they do is for Buddhism, for all sentient beings. What is Buddhism? Is it just about the sutra? The sutras is deep, it can be hard to understand, but the core principle is simple and is reflected on what our volunteers are doing, which is loving one another, caring for other people, respecting each other, and giving what you have to other people who do not have. As simple as that is what Buddhism is. As we are more knowledgeable, we tend to complicate things. We think that this is something complex, we don't know how to do, but to them, how, because they are pure, and so they receive it so easily, and they're able to give it so easily as well. And that's why Master always compliment them. And I truly admire the spirit and the attitude in their voluntary work that they do. Not only just giving and helping, but also sharing the core principle is the most important thing that change other people. And that not only changed them, but also changed my personal life as well. When I started coming here when I came here the second time, I met this terminal ill patient, which was a very significant impact to me. When I met her, this is a mom of a volunteer who's been ill for a long time. And she never asked for me to come and visit. When I visited, it was very heartbreaking because she was very coquetted towards her at the end of her illness. But what is most heartbroken was that I, as a doctor, came to help her, was unable to give her anything that I can help. And that made me feel utterly guilty, because to them, they probably carry a hope that, I'm unwell. If I could have a doctor, I would get better. But today a doctor came and she couldn't do anything. I felt that I had given her a death sentence, and I was very guilty for my presence. And I thought maybe I shouldn't even be there, because otherwise she might have a hope she would get better. But I'm very grateful for the city volunteers in Mozambique. after visiting her, I spent days thinking what I can do. I have no medicines because she's terminally ill. She's going to pass at some point. But what else? What else can I do? So I have a chat with my sister Denise, and then we thought, well, it's okay. We can still visit her. We can, she's lying on the ground, so we can bring her a bed so that she doesn't need to lie on the dirty ground. So we brought our portable bed, we brought our blanket, and most importantly, we brought our volunteers to visit. And that really moved me and also helped me sail through this period, because it was I felt guilty, but because the volunteers came and we saw the mother smile and sing together with us, and I'd like to show you this video of the mom who is singing with us. Yeah, so when I first met her, she was unable to speak to me. She was so weak. But on that day when we came to visit, after we sang to her, and she even sang with us, and I thought, wow, this is truly amazing. I thought I have brought nothing, and I have nothing to give her. I have no medicine, I have no medical skills that I can cure her HIV. I've forgotten that the most important thing, actually, everyone has, is actually the care and love that we can give people. A touch in the hand, a simple hug, or a simple gesture by singing. These are all the great medicine that we are forgotten to give to people. And so that not only helped the mother, but also helped me in this journey. Because I thought that maybe I shouldn't come here because I don't have the skills and I don't have the medicine. People here are so poor. People here has devastating status. They have difficult illness that I cannot cure. Maybe I shouldn't be here. But they taught me that I should be here even more, because not only I have the skills, but I also have a group of volunteers to support me. And when I do not have the medicines, I have the volunteers who can give the best medicine, which is love. So the mother passed away a week later, and I'm very grateful for the volunteers who brought her love in the last stage of her life. People ask me whether I miss where I used to live and my life in the UK. This is where I used to live. This is called Inverness. It's I think the second happiest place in the United Kingdom. And it is a very beautiful place. And this is what I used to do in my free time. Kayaking, hiking. These are all beautiful memories. But there is always an empty space in my heart that I always know. And I knew something wasn't right. So I know, because in my day-to-day job, I don't find useful myself, because I'm dealing with very minor things all the time. And I don't feel this is what I wanted to be a doctor for. I see minor cuts, simple knock on the head, and they come from a medical assistant. I felt that probably UK do not need another doctor. I don't need me. So because of this empty space in my heart, I tend to fill it with a lot of other things, kayaking, hiking, and all these happy moments in my non-working life. But in order to fulfill this, I need to earn more money. And I see myself in a vicious cycle. I'm not happy. I need to find other things that makes me happy. I need more money to do this, traveling, all this. So I need to work harder in order to fulfill my emptiness. And I see myself going into a vicious cycle, and I don't want to fall into that trap. So I left in the UK, and when people ask me, do I miss my UK life? And truthfully speaking, I don't, because this is what I'm doing. I've seen a child 2 weeks ago who had a hot water spilled wound, and he was left at home for 5 days without treatment. And when I saw him, his leg was fully burned. You would not see this in the UK, and it will be managed by specialists. I'm so grateful that I have the opportunity to look after this child and seeing how his wound cured and recover. This is what I'm doing now. I don't miss my life in the UK. The UK and Mozambique is different, but it's also the same. Look at the sky that we all share. When you look up upon the sky, it's the same blue, white clouds. The people living underneath the same blue skies are so different, and even the volunteers are different. So, of course, I don't miss my life in the UK because I found a mission here in Mozambique that I have a task that I can do to help them, sail through this difficulty, to transform their life by giving them a good health. But in Mozambique, it's very difficult to learn the Dharma because they don't speak English, and even if they do speak English, then it might not be easy to understand. So a lot of time when we teach the Dharma, we need to translate to Portuguese. And even if we translate to Portuguese, there are people who are illiterate. They cannot read the subtitles. So when we do training, we will have someone reading out loud the subtitles so that they understand. And Sister Denise will have to stop from time to time for a 12-minute video so that to make sure that they understood, because sometimes the words that we use are too deep. So learning a 12-minute video could take up to an hour, but they are the legend and they learn it by heart. And they, wherever they learn, they use it in the day-to-day life. And however hard it is, they endure the difficulties. So, and persist. You know how difficult it is to set up a tent. When I saw how they have no ladder and they have to climb on a wooden stick and then to hold up the tent, I was really, really surprised and moved. So they are trying all their best to transform their own life. What else can we do in our end that we can help them? Of course, we speak a lot about donating money, and that is important because we need a lot of material to help them, and we're grateful for the love that we receive from all over the world. Whenever they hear about Master talking about Mozambique, we receive donations, and we're truly, truly grateful. But there is also another thing, which is supposed to be the core topic that I'm sharing today, but I've only have 10 minutes left, is that there is one thing that we can do by what you eat every day, and you are able to help Africa from that. Food crisis in Africa is not something new, but I am able to witness it myself, and it breaks my heart. When we were doing food distribution before COVID, looking at the smile and the desperate need in their eyes when they receive food, it was just a bowl of noodle with nothing, but you can see how eager they want food. That means that they are not receiving enough. Because of COVID now, the prices of food have gone up. People are struggling to buy food. And the volunteer, Erika, told us that she has to reduce her rice from 4 to 2 cups to feed a family of 7. And when the children came and told her, "Mom, I'm hungry," and she said, "It's okay. Just go and drink some water and then go to bed. You won't feel hungry the next day. Don't go out and play. Just sleep. Just sleep. Then you won't feel hungry." And then we went to the rural areas and we find more heartbreaking stories of old people only eating once a day and have to starve the other day because they don't have enough food. Families having to feed 13 members, but only has 1 kilogram of flour every day. And so the older people get hungry. This is the food that they eat. We visited one elderly people in the very rural area. They mix maize flour with water, like porridge, and they eat this dry nuts and bitter gourd, and that's the meal that they take for a few days. And that's the food that they eat. In Da'ai village, a plate of shima, which is maize flour, and 7 people were sharing when we came to visit, and that's the meal for the day. And they don't know whether to have it for the evening or for tomorrow. They just deal with what you have today. Why are the people in this world who are suffering and who are not getting enough food? Global food crisis, we know, comes from many reasons. Of course, in the present moment, COVID is one of the big things that is causing the food prices to go up. And there's also drought that's ongoing and therefore causes low production. But what is more important is animal farming, which is a main cause for global food crisis in this world. We all should know by now that animal farming is one of the main reasons for world food crisis, because we are using grain to feed animals in order to feed people, when this grain is supposed to feed 20 people at the same time. And that is why we are not having enough food for the world. If we distribute the 16 grams of grains for everyone, this world will have enough supply to feed everybody. And we also know to produce a pound of beef for a hamburger, we need 9,000 liters of clean water and 12 pounds of grain. What does 9,000 liters of clean water means to a person? I've done some research and wanted to know, what is 9,000 liters of water? If we take 1 liter a day, so that is 30 liters in a month. So 9,000 would last you for 9 months of drink. 9,000 will last you for 25 years worth of drinking water. Whereas if you take it for shower, then this is 9 months worth of showering water. And 12 pounds of grains equals to 12 pounds of bread. And that equals to feeding 12 family. It is very difficult to get water in Mozambique, and the water that they get is dirty. Looking at how difficult this volunteer is, I was so worried that she's going to fall into the well. And so we gave her a longer rope so that she doesn't need to go all the way in. But this is their day-to-day life, and to them it is normal. 9,000 liters is how many buckets of water that you can get in a well. And of course, animal farming is also causing extreme weather because of climate change. This was the stream that was next to Da'ai village. It was in March time, and we were very happy to say, we are so lucky in this farm because we have a stream. But we came back in May, and we saw this stream is dry. There's no water in it. So people in Mozambique are suffering from natural disaster because of climate change. But who is the culprit for global warming? Yeah. First world, developing countries are the culprit for global warming. We produce lots of CO2, methane gas from animal farming, and we polluted the world. But then, who is the victim for global warming? Cyclone Idai was a result of global warming as well, because of the heat, and therefore the sea water temperature rises higher, and therefore causes extreme cyclone. But who are the ones who suffer? They are the ones who suffer. But who's the culprit? We are. Every year, we know that we have a statistic now that we consume 2,443 animals every single second. And every year we ate 77 billion animals every year. when we shared this to our volunteers, they were stunned because that is so much more of the population of Mozambique. They were stunned at how much animals that humans consume. But when we asked them, how much animal do you eat? And then some of them say, well, actually, it's very expensive to buy meat. So most of the time, maybe just a few times in a year. So they're not the main consumer, but they're suffering. They're the main people who get the impact. So I felt that this is not fair, that they are suffering because of what we do. This is a video of our volunteer, and when we told them about how we should all be vegetarian, we should stop killing animals, and then we asked them, would you want to be a vegetarian? And that's what they say. Can we play this video? So they say, vegetarian. Vegetarian. All the vegetarians. So we asked them, can you invite some people to be vegetarian? And they said yes. So they were willing to become vegetarian, and they vowed to invite more people to be vegetarian. But these people are the ones who have no food to eat. One of the volunteers who lives in Yamatanda is 20 years old, and he's an orphanage, and he has to work in order to find food. But it's difficult to find permanent jobs, so they do what we call finding piscato, which means doing random jobs and might receive 100 or 200 cash each day. He told me after we shared to him about being vegetarian, he told me on that night itself, he said, this is my dinner. And I asked, is it vegetarian? He said, it has fish. Does fish count? So I said, oh no, fish is alive as well. So fish is not vegetarian. So maybe you can try next time to go without fish. He said, oh, no worries. Okay, I can try my best. Then the next day he sent me a photo of his dinner, which was touching, but at the same time breaks my heart because he was just having cucumber for dinner. And I say, is this enough? You only have a cucumber? It's like, but it's vegetarian, don't worry. I have enough nutrients. I have rice, I have cucumber, it's good. Don't worry, I want to be vegetarian. And for the next few days, he continues to share with me photos of his dinner, which are beans and different vegetables. And he said that he's trying his best. Then one day, 2 days ago, he came to speak to me. He said, Sister Carmen, I said, yes. I have something to tell you. I said, what? He said, yesterday I have fish because I have nothing at home. I only have fish. And because my uncle bought fish, so I don't have vegetable. So, but I was very hungry, so I ate it. But I say sorry to the fish because I feel sorry that I ate them. Is this okay? So this was very, I feel very sorry to hear this because for them, for people like them, they might forget what they have. So fish can be easily found from stream, river stream, or by the sea because we're on the east coast. And these are free, but vegetables might be difficult to get. You have to buy it, and you have to work in order to get vegetables. But they're still willing to give up meat to go for vegetarian because he said, I need to do this because this is the right thing to do. But I was hungry, so I don't know what to do. So I told him it's okay. If you have nothing to eat, it's okay. And also you feel sorry and you apologize. But he said, but if I have a choice, I will not take meat. I said that is the right attitude. And he said, tomorrow I will go and buy more. I will go and buy more cucumber and I'll go and buy this and that. I said, that's okay. You're trying your best. Most important is to feed yourself. So people like them who has nothing to eat is willing to give up meat because that is the right thing to do. When we have so much option in this world, we have the choices of different vegetables, noodles, rice, but it complicates us even more. And the more we have, the harder for us to give, and hardest for us to give up. Is that something that we could learn from our Mozambican volunteers? The pure nature, which is the kindness that you have, the compassionate that you have. When you hear other living beings suffering, you want to help other people. You want to help the animals as well. As long as you get enough nutrient, enough energy, why do you want to consume meat? And especially in this moment when Master has told us that the right thing to do and the one thing to do is vegetarian. If you've ever felt disheartened upon hearing my sharing today or in the past, that it was story to hear how difficult people are living in Africa. If you have ever donated to them, and if you have not yet become a vegetarian, you're actually consuming what they are eating for people who are struggling to survive. So I urge everyone that there is one thing that you can do without having to leave your home, without having to come to Africa. And it's from every day, 3 meals a day that you can do is by reducing the meat intake, reducing the animal production, the animal farming production, so that global warming can be saved, so that the food that we get across the globe can be distributed to everyone in this world. It is idealistic, but if we don't start from ourselves, if we don't start from us, who is the true volunteers, who has received the right teaching, then there's no one else who's going to change. If we think that we still need meat to survive, we are eating other people's nutrients. So vegetarian is mandatory, and that's what Master said. We not only that, we should always remind ourselves that we should eat 80% full and leave 20% for others. And not only that, we should always remember that whatever we have, we don't need a full 100%. You can leave 20% of your time, 20% of your energy, 20% of your money to give it to other people who are in desperate need. And leaving 20% is not going to cause any harm to your personal life, but it's going to make a significant impact to other people. So I urge you today that if you're not a vegetarian, please consider reducing your meat intake and considering, having becoming a vegetarian, or if not just every few days, or if you're a vegetarian, we need you to tell other people from what you heard today to spread the message out that you don't need to be in Africa to help them. You can just do it by what you eat and the choices that you make every day. I'd like to share the last video to everyone as a gratitude for listening to my story, and also the gratitude to you in the future, spreading the story, telling other people, recruiting more vegetarians, and to help save this world and save these people from starvation. Now, can I have this video play?
Ijulaniku,
Great thanks to everyone for listening to my sharing. This is a video of the song that is created for Sangren by our volunteers. Let us all follow Master Cheng Yin for her guidance, has given us strength and courage to walk through this difficult path. And I welcome everyone to join us today in this new Bodhisattva path. Our volunteers are doing their very hard to transform our life here, and I hope everyone will continue in this Dharma lineage and learn as much as you can, share as much as you can, and with our families here, I believe not only we can transform Africa, we can also transform the universe as well. Thank you very much. Amen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carmen, for sharing these stories with us and taking us all the way to Mozambique. There is so much we can learn from our brothers and sisters in Mozambique, their selfless love and resilience to push through no matter how hard things get. So apart from combating climate change and providing food security to people in developing countries, what other reasons make adopting a vegetarian diet so important? So let us now welcome Dr. Eddie Chan, who is a consultant pediatrician, as well as a physician in nutritional and lifestyle medicine. Today, he will share with us how and why the way we live could affect not only ourselves, but also our generations to come. So let us welcome Dr. Eddie.
Hi, everybody, all the brother and sister. Today, I just want to share some of the things with you, how the way we live and we eat actually can change our world, especially in our health as well. So I just want to show you some slides. You can see the full screen. The full screen. Okay. Fine. I'll just leave it at that. Okay. So sometimes you need to ask one question. Why, with the advance of a technology, with the advance of the nutrition as well as medicine, getting more and more chronic cases now admit the hospital, and more people die from cancer, heart attack, stroke, etc. Why, with the advancement of a technology and we get more and more pollutions, our earth actually is getting more and more sick, okay? And people get sick more and more frequent. So sometimes when we talk about health, actually body, mind, environment, and what we eat as a holistic way, they interact with each other, okay? One concept I wish to introduce you is about inflammation. So when we talk about inflammation, sometimes when we get an injury, we get inflammation, okay? So when we get inflammation, we get healed, okay? We feel pain, redness, okay? It's called inflammation. So inflammation helps for our recovery. But coronavirus also induce inflammation, because inflammation not only help for recover, sometimes in the process of recovering, they do damage our own tissue cell as well. Okay, so this diagram you can see there's a lot of a complicated pathway in the process of inflammation during the attack of a coronavirus. Okay, and how inflammation actually damage our body. I think there's a video maybe can show to you. Okay, a concept of inflammation. Maybe it's on the video and see.
Okay, Dr. Eddie, you may continue the video and finish playing.
All right. Okay. All right, so this is called inflammation. So sometimes when there's an attack between both parties, actually there's many things in between and many things beside actually get damaged. This is called inflammation. So they do produce inflammation and damage our body. This is an X-ray. On the left side, actually you can see this is a normal chest X-ray when the lung field is dark in color because of the air inside our lung. On the other side, the right side, actually you can see there's a lot of white patches. Actually, is caused by the inflammation process and cause the lung tissue damage. So there's another kind of inflammation, we call it a chronic inflammation. It's very mild inflammation. And this mild inflammation in the long term, actually, they do cause a lot of chronic disease, heart disease, diabetes, cancer, okay, hypertension, etc., etc. All these are caused by inflammation. So sometimes there are many things we can do about it. There's a food to cause inflammation, and there's some food actually that do reduce inflammation. Okay, what the food can cause inflammation? For example, high sugar diet can cause inflammation. Alcohol, low fibers diet, diet that's low fibers like a lot of flour, processed food, even meat intake. Trans fat, not a good fat. High fat diet, meat, it can cause inflammation. How about food to reduce inflammation, like fruits and vegetables, herbs and spices, high fibrous intake, water. Water is anti-inflammation as well. Okay, so according to the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, they've designed what is the best way to improve our health and reduce inflammation. So I would like to share with you. First, must drink a lot of water. I think this one everybody can do it. The plate, half of the plate must be filled with fruits and vegetables. 1/4 whole grain. Whole grain means whole grain meal, whole grain food, brown rice, etc. Is whole grain. How about another 1/4? Another 1/4 is by this whole grain, and then 1/4 is plant protein. Plant protein. Protein, actually there's animal protein and plant protein. Why they choose plant protein, not animal protein in the plate? There's many reasons behind. Okay, let me explain to you one by one. For example, fish, because seafood. Okay, we all know that seafood, they have tons of different pollution because of from the water and from the river and sea. There are a lot of pollution from the industrial area. United States Nation Research Council, they've done a study. They found that a lot of this water actually contain a lot of pesticide, chemical, and heavy metal. You can see all the pollution go to the sea. And mercury is neurotoxic. Once they go into the brain, it's very hard to come up from the body. So they affect the brain and the nervous system. So it affects the children's development, delay in walking and talking, short attention span, even a learning difficulty. How about in adult? In called infertility. There's one now getting more and more cases of infertility going on. Memory loss, tremor, numbness. Some people always worry, I feel numb, I feel tremor on my hand. Is it because I get old? No, but nobody talk about, are we having a mercury problem? Because in 2009, CDC, they did a study. They found that 1 in 40 women, okay, the blood contained high above a level above 5.8, above a safety level of mercury. This may affect the baby. Okay, and now they have studied to show that actually this thing do cause related to autism, and autism getting more and more common. Okay, maybe you can show the video about this video number 2. Okay. I think I can stop the video. Can we stop the video? Rosalie, I can't hear you.
Okay, we've stopped the video. You may continue now.
I cannot see anything, only the screen only. I can't on the thing. So, okay. So you can see the graph. Actually, from 1970 to 2009, actually the autism rate is getting higher and higher. 1 in 91. So later go to 1 in 88, 1 in 68, and recently even 1 in 59. So case is getting more and more common. This is another case. A kids come with a learning problem and autistic behavior. We send their hair to the lab and found that there's high dose of mercury in the hair. And this is a 2-year-old boy. Same thing. You can see the mercury, high dose of mercury, up to 95 centile. So in 2004, Hong Kong did a study. Actually, they found that food is the main source of exposure to mercury in the food, especially fish. It's the main source of mercury. So the same year, 2004, FDA and did a warning. Women and children try to limit the amount of fish they eat and avoid some types of fish. So mercury, when it stays inside the body, actually take a long time to come out from the brain. So it roughly take about 69 days to 22 years to come out from the body. And not only that, there's another chemical is quite dangerous called PCB. Same come from the industrial area, go to the river and sea and get polluted. And now most of the fish have PCB. So PCB actually can reduce the motor skill, reduce memory. They can affect our immune system and is one of the human carcinogen. That means it can cause cancer. So this is a study. They've shown that European Food Safety Authority, you can see fish and fish oil have a high dose of PCB in the inside. So another study, they've done a study. They show that PCB actually once the mother taken it, actually they do affect the baby. Okay, they even calculated if you want the PCB in your body to be removed out before you start to get pregnant, you need to stop fish intake for 5 years before pregnancy. You can imagine how long the PCB can stay inside our body. Okay? Many people like salmon fish, right? But 80% of the salmon fish is in farm. It's a farm salmon. I'm not sure, do you know that salmon fish look very nice, pinkish color, reddish color, but originally all salmon actually are gray in color because they eat the food inside the sea. That's why they become a red color. But in the farm salmon, actually, they don't have this food to eat to become a red color. So the gray color, you do not want to eat gray color salmon, right? So what they do is they add a dye inside the food for the fish to eat. And this dye actually is developed from petroleum. It's developed from petroleum. So not only that, they're more saturated fat, not good fat, more dye, and 8 times more PCB. Some people ask, oh, how about omega-3? Omega-3 is very important, right? Okay, so how about fish? Fish contain a lot of omega-3. Actually, in omega, there's omega-3 and omega-6. The red color one you can see is omega-6. Actually, they cause our body inflammation. Omega-3 actually is anti-inflammation. Okay? You can see all kind of farm fish, including salmon fish, they have higher omega-6 and higher AA. AA is causing inflammation. How bad is the scenario? You can see the donut from 4 mg AA, hamburger 34 mg AA, pork, bacon 112, catfish 67, tilapia even more. You can see this is salmon fish 1152 AA. So much higher. Okay, so if you want to take omega, which is help for your brain, okay, help for your immune system and help for your anti-inflammation, go for flaxseed and chia seed. Flaxseed contain omega-3 much more higher than fish. Sometimes you can see this of poster, do not eat the fish. In America, you can see some of the rivers, some of the lakes, they have this sign mentioned, if you catch the fish, don't eat the fish. Do you see this type of signboard around your area? Even in Malaysia, okay, some of the river is heavily polluted, okay, grade 4 to grade 5 pollutions. So there very less fish can survive in the river, or sometimes even no fish at all. Okay, 2008 they did the study, the man-made impact of the ocean. You can see the reddish part the map, actually they show this worst pollution along the east coast of China, Malaysia, Europe country, etc. So try not to eat the fish anymore. Okay. Of course, sometimes say, I never know that. I thought fish is good. If you do not know it, it's okay. But if you know it, fish is not good. But why we still eat fish and we still serve our family with fish? How about chicken? Without fish, we still have chicken. I love chicken so much last time. Okay, now that I don't eat chicken anymore because 2012 actually Johns Hopkins University, they did a study. They found a 12 sample of a chicken feather all contain arsenic. Arsenic is a very toxic chemical they can use in the Second World War for the spy to kill people. Okay, and now it's widely used in United States. Why? Because if you feed arsenic, the chicken can grow faster. Okay, if you kill the chicken, the meat of the chicken look pinkish color and look nicer, more healthy color. Okay? So arsenic, they can affect our heart and nervous system and is considered group 1 carcinogen. What does it mean by group 1 carcinogen? Group 1 carcinogen is a substance can cause cancer called group 1 carcinogen. So not only arsenic, now later they found that there's a banned class of antibiotic is being used because chicken farm, they grow, it's a very compact place. They grow the chicken. So all the chicken can fall sick. When they get fall sick, they transmit the disease to other chicken. So to prevent that, they need to feed the chicken with antibiotic every day. And stronger antibiotics needed. So finally, banned class of antibiotic is needed. Okay. So not only that, they feed the chicken with Prozac, antidepressant, anti-anxiety drugs. Why? The chickens, they stay in a very compact area. They will get depressed. So what you need to do, you need to give some antidepressant for them. But if you give antidepressant for them, they feel sleepy. Okay. So what to do is they give caffeine. Caffeine they put inside the food and feed the chicken as well, so the chicken can keep alert and keep on eating. See what are we human doing to the chicken? Well, we do not want the chicken to feel depressed, and we do not want the chicken to feel sleepy and keep on eating. 80% of the United States cattle are injected with hormone to make it grow faster. Okay, to make it grow faster, to increase the milk production. You can see the hind leg of the cow. Cattle actually they usually have arthritis, that means inflammation in the joint. The breast so big. They constantly contact with the ground. Okay, so they get infection and end up with antibiotic as well. So European Union Scientific Committee actually they did a study and found that this hormone actually disturb our human hormone balance. They can cause different kind of breast, prostate, and even colon cancer. So what should we eat in that case? How about vegetable? But there's pesticide in vegetable, right? Yeah, right. We are using more and more pesticide in the vegetable. This is not a good thing, unfortunately. Okay, but they did another study. They found that 99% of the human breast milk are contaminated with pesticide and PCB. Right? But human breast milk is still the best milk compared to cow's milk for baby. Okay, so continue human breast milk, but they are already contaminated. But another study, they found that the level of pesticide in the breast milk of vegetarian mother is about 50% lower than mother who eat conventional diet. Why vegetarian mother have lower pesticide level? Because later they found meat contain pesticide residue even 7 times higher than vegetable and even 24 times higher than cereal. Why? Because this farm, the chicken, the beef, the cow, the pig, the food they eat contain lots of pesticide with long expiry date. And this high dose of pesticide can enter into the fatty tissue of the meat. Okay? This is a website that you can search. This is the level of pesticide are allowed in different food. Do you notice that almond, they have 25 parts per million? What do you see? Animal feed. For animal feed is 400. They allow so high dose of pesticide inside the food for the animal to eat. That's why all the meats with high dose of pesticide. So now they allow animal feed 100 times more pesticide and allow red meat have 20 times more pesticide than most of the plant. Even 1971 New England Journal of Medicine have proven that breast milk contaminant of vegan was lower when they compare 17 different types of chemical. So are vegetable nutritious enough? People worry vegetable not enough nutrition. This is another study by Professor Colin Campbell. They compare the nutrient from different food. They put plant-based food contain what? Tomato, bean, okay. Animal-based food, they contain beef, pork, chicken. They make a comparison. You can see iron, magnesium, calcium. Plant-based food, no problem. How about protein? Protein is similar. It's similar. So our vegetable nutrition enough? Definitely enough. We have to accept the fact vegetable is enough nutrition. Even the American Dietary Association had mentioned at all stages of life, they mean start from baby until you're old, a proper plant vegetarian diet is healthy, nutrition enough, and even can help for prevention and treatment of certain diseases. But how about iron? We always worry iron is not enough in a plant-based diet. Is it true? They did a study and found that vegetarian, same, they're no more likely to have iron deficiency anemia than most of the non-vegetarian. It's the same, but there's a difference between iron in the animal and in the plant. In the animal iron, we call it heme iron. Plant iron called non-heme iron. What's the difference? The plant iron, okay, plant iron, the iron absorption is determined by your body needs. If body need lesser iron, they absorb slower. If your body need more iron, they absorb faster into your body. However, animal iron, regardless of how much we need, they absorb in our body. So what happened? Iron is important to make red blood cell in our body. But if we absorb too much, okay, iron is a pro-oxidant. We have an antioxidant for our body. It's a pro-oxidant. What pro-oxidant do? Research shown that animal iron is related to coronary heart disease, heart attack, heart disease, related to stroke, related to cancer, even related to type 2 diabetes. This is another study in Singapore. They are used 63,000 Singaporean Chinese. They did a study. They found that most red meat, pork, beef, lamb, even poultry, and fish intake associated with higher risk of getting diabetes because of the animal iron inside the food. How about soy and high uric acid? Some people worry high uric acid is caused by soy intake. Okay? Research shown that high uric acid mainly is come from protein in animal protein, especially seafood. Okay? So if you look at the website, the Mayo Clinic, they found that they advise if you have high uric acid, try to limit your meat intake, especially seafood. But how about the protein? They use beans and legumes to replace the animal protein. Okay? But in Malaysia, okay, many patients get high uric acid. They stop meat. They eat more meat and stop the bean. They worry bean can produce more uric acid. Okay, but actually, the truth is you should eat more bean to replace the protein from the meat. Research also shown that higher IQ in children on vegetarian diet, higher IQ linked to being a vegetarian. So even Newton a vegetarian, Albert Einstein is vegetarian. They are vegetarian with reason. They not simply eat vegetable. They know why they become vegetarian. Okay, even Thomas Edison, okay, also vegetarian. Benjamin Franklin, for those who like US dollars, okay, this is a very smart man. He is a polymath. He is an author, politician, scientist, musician, inventor, okay, in diplomat. Okay, he mentioned that if I'm vegetarian, my mind is clearer. I can think better. Okay. In British Medical Journal, they studied about 8,000 people from birth. They found that those with higher IQ, 5 points higher, they tend to be easier to become a vegetarian. Why? they did a study, they found that actually because the high IQ people, they're smarter, okay? And they found that the smarter you are, the more likelihood you become a vegetarian. So I'm saying for those who are still staying here to listen to the sharing, okay, you must be a smart man, a smart lady, okay? So vegetable is for smart people choice. But physical, is vegetarian diet make you feel weak? Some people they feel weak. Carl is a champion, okay, Olympic champion, sportman in the century, is a vegetarian. Martina is a champion in tennis. This one definitely is vegetarian. Even Pubert, 5 times world best built man of the century, 61 years old, 71 years old, 78 years old. It makes me feel depressed. They're so strong, okay? So, but why we always feel that we must eat some meat, okay? Because a lot of advertisement, they want to portray image, eat like a man, okay? Eat meat is like a man. Actually, it's not true, okay? If you have time, try to see this a documentary actually come up from Netflix, but now it's widely available. You can see in the YouTube, okay, called The Game Changer, okay. I would like to show you the video of the trip, a small part of the video, just on the video and see, and on the video.
I ate a lot of meat. They showed us commercials.
Steak. That's what a man eats.
Selling that idea that real men eat meat.
Serious man food.
But you got to understand, that's marketing. That's not based on reality.
I've been teaching fighting techniques to government agencies for more than 15 years. Then I got injured. Unable to teach for at least 6 months, I spent more than 1,000 hours studying science on recovery and nutrition, and stumbled across a study about the Roman gladiators.
The gladiators were predominantly vegetarian.
How could the original professional fighters be so powerful, eating only plants?
When I made the switch to a plant-based diet, I qualified for my 3rd Olympic team. I broke 2 American records. I was like, man, I should have done this a long while ago.
When I went plant-based, I wasn't sure if I was gonna survive. And I actually became like a machine.
One of the biggest misconceptions in sports nutrition is that we have to have animal protein to perform at a high level. That's just not true.
Sometimes you have to do things that you know your competitors aren't doing.
Today's blood and yesterday's blood. So I think this is going to wake a lot of people up.
I was recovering better, not getting as sore. This was our best season in the last 15 years, and we had 14 guys on plant-based diets.
We all want to feel great, have more energy.
Cholesterol was 276. Today, 169.
Whoa, now you're talking.
Most guys my age can keep up with the grandchildren. My grandchildren can't keep up with me.
It's not one set of dietary guidelines for improving your performance as an athlete, another one for reversing heart disease, reversing diabetes. It's the same for all of them.
Someone asked me, how could you get as strong as an ox without eating any meat? And my answer was, have you ever seen an ox eating meat?
May someone remind me, have I finished the video already? I can't see the video.
Okay, the video has finished. Please continue.
Okay, right. Okay, you can see they have no problem at all. Okay, in sport. Okay, and you can see this is one of the strongest men in the world. He's from Germany. He became a vegetarian in 2006, and after that, in 2011, after he became the strongest man, he even become a vegan as well. So it's not a problem at all to become a vegetarian. So even a study has shown that human ancestors were nearly all vegetarian. Okay, Spider-Man. Is there anybody loves Spider-Man? There are some Spider-Man fans. Of course, there are some people like Batman. If you ask one question, Spider-Man and Batman, who is stronger? Who is stronger? What do you think? Of course, different people give different opinion. Some may say that Spider-Man they're more alert, okay, because the movement is faster, okay, their hand and legs. However, Batman maybe is smarter, IQ higher, they can think, there's a good thinker, okay, but both of them have advantage and disadvantage, the weakness and strength. But how do you know who's the better one? Of course, they fight with each other, you will know, right? So then only we know who's better. But how about plant-based diet or a non-plant-based? Who is better? People always argue whether you have enough nutrition, eat vitamin B12, okay, etc. There are many arguing going on. But when you compare, then you know whether vegetarian and non-vegetarian which will give you better outcome. I recommend you to read a book called The China Study. It's done by Professor Colin Campbell. Actually, they're partnered with Oxford University, Cornell University, and University in China. They did a 20-year study in 6,500 people in 65 rural places in China. What they found that for those who eat more and more animal protein, animal-based food, they're easy to get diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, lower immune system, cognitive problems, dementia, Alzheimer's disease, even heart problem, cholesterol, even kidney stone of osteoporosis as well. Many people that, are you sure osteoporosis? No? You may notice that osteoporosis is getting higher and higher, more and more common, especially in the Western country. The highest incidence of osteoporosis actually is in United States and Finland, where they drink milk every day. So it doesn't help, okay? Even in rural part of China, osteoporosis is much lesser because they eat mainly plant-based food. Many types of cancer, leukemia, breast, colon, liver, lung, brain cancer, are related to animal-based protein. So this is WHO classification of carcinogen. The group 1 carcinogen is the one confirmed. Okay, this substance can lead to cancer. For example, arsenic. You mentioned in the chicken, arsenic, sausage, hot dog, bacon, salami. They are group 1 carcinogen. Smoking, smoke cigarette is group 1 carcinogen. It means eating a hot dog is the same like smoking. We don't allow our children to smoke, but sometimes we allow our school to sell hot dog. I can't figure the reason why. But even group 2A, the second level, group 2A probably cause cancer. Beef, lamb, okay, pork, they are under group 2A. Fish is not inside, but fish contain mercury and PCB. So Oxford University did a study. They found that vegetarian can cut risk of cancer by half. So what is the optimum percentage of animal-based product? What do you think? So after the research, Professor Colin Campbell, who is a meat eater initially, after this report, he mentioned the best is zero. The best is zero. So even the lower percentage, the better. You can feel the benefit even from 10% to 0%. So even Professor Colin Campbell turned to become a vegetarian later after his own research. So vegetarian versus non-vegetarian, no matter how we discuss about the benefit, the risk, okay, the advantage, weakness, the strength, finally, you know that the better outcome is the vegetarian group will get a better outcome. Not only that, now the research shown that 70% of our immune system come from our gut. So probiotic, good bacteria inside our stomach, inside our intestine is very important, very important. Where this good bacteria actually come from, okay? For those who have taken some fermented food before, fermented food actually contains a lot of probiotic, we call good bacteria. A lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. The surface of the fruit and vegetable contains a lot of good bacteria. So during fermentation, all this good bacteria will start to grow. And when you eat a lot of vegetable, this good bacteria start to grow inside your stomach and make you feel stronger and make you get healthier. Your immune system become better. But what happens if you eat a meat? Okay, you put a meat inside the fermented food. You can see the fermented food will get damaged or get spoiled. Okay, same. If you eat a lot of vegetable inside, eat very less vegetable inside stomach, but eat a lot of meat, you can imagine what happens in your stomach. what happened to the good bacteria or the probiotic? They get died. Okay, so now they found out that meat eater and plant eater, actually the probiotic pattern inside the stomach is totally different. Sometimes the surface of the meat is look very beautiful, right? Okay, but we don't eat it raw because they have there's so much of bacteria inside. Okay, that's why we cook it before we eat. But do you know that actually all this bacteria on the meat itself, they produce toxin, they call bacteria endotoxin, and this bacteria endotoxin is resistant to heat. If you cook the food, you kill the bacteria, but the endotoxin remain inside the meat. If you taken the endotoxin inside your body, okay, your body immune system will start to react, recognize the endotoxin, start to react and trigger inflammation into your body. Of course, there's a lot of chemical during burning and cooking of the meat. Okay, they produce not only can cause cancer, they can increase our inflammation in our body as well. So the benefit of the vegetarian diet is being recognized by many organizations, British Medical Association, World Health Organization, Physician Committee of Responsible Medicine, Oxford Study, etc. Okay, so there are many types of vegetarian. Some people call vegan. Vegan means they don't eat. They are vegetarian without milk and egg as well. Okay, vegan. Okay, another type of vegetarian is called ovo-lacto vegetarian. That means they eat plant-based diet. Okay, but they do drink some milk. They do eat some eggs. We call ovo-lacto vegetarian. To me, if you can, in beginning part, if you can become an ovo-lacto vegetarian, you are considered a success. Okay, you are considered a good success, a good step to go into vegetarian. If you become an ovo-lacto vegetarian, you are, to me, you are a good vegetarian guy. Okay, United Nations reported that milk industry is one of the most significant contributor for today's environmental problems. Why we say that? Because we always say that global warming because of the carbon dioxide. But livestock, those animals that in the farm, livestock carbon dioxide emissions are more than all the ship, truck, and planes combined. Okay? And carbon emissions from the food, beef. If you take 1 kilogram of beef, okay, the carbon dioxide emissions is equal to a car who travel 176 kilometers. And not only carbon dioxide, there's another gas called methane gas. Methane gas is 23 times more effective to trap heat than carbon dioxide to cause global warming. And one of the source of methane gas is come from animal, cow. They come off all this sound, right? So all these gases contain a lot of methane gas. But how much this methane gas can produce per day? They can produce almost 200 to 500 liters per day. There is about 7 billion human population in the earth. Okay, a cow is about 1 billion. You can imagine if I've calculated if we humans are so kind enough to breathe in all the methane gas, okay, every one of us have to inhale 50 liters per day. 50 liters per day. And the good thing is methane gas, the half-life about 12 years. That means they can disappear quite fast. Unlike carbon dioxide can remain in our atmosphere for 30 to 95 years. That means if you can reduce farm, okay, reduce numbers of animal, okay, plant-based diet, the methane gas will start to drop. In 12 years, we can see the difference in our motherly earth, unlike carbon dioxide. So climate changes, they will also introduce a lot of new disease, new pathogens to a new area we never exposed before. Okay, they can transmission of disease to unclean water and contaminated food with climate changes, and with contact with those animals. Okay, now we are getting more and more new viruses, SARS, MERS, even recently COVID-19. Okay, these all are kind of virus. They are in the forest, belongs to animal that we never contact with them, and all of us living with the animal in a harmonious state. But somehow with the development, with climate changes, with development, we start to contact with them, and we get all kinds of new viruses from the forest. So climate changes also reduce the nutritional value of our food. The crops, the rice, wheat, soy, they've been grown. Now they found they start to have reducing level of iron, zinc, and protein. So they also affect our global agriculture production. So the crops yield is getting lesser and lesser. So what happened? So even those smallholder farmer, okay, they're having a food shortage, and then food and nutrition security are being impacted. So the impact of climate change include the price of all these crops will increase. So more people unable to afford it. Okay, and you can see big percentage of all the grains are given to the livestock, and big percentage of soy are being consumed by the livestock. So if you go to the United States on the plane, you look down the big farm, okay, and most of this food will be given to livestock. It's not to human being. So what will happen when we eat more and more meat? They need more and more farm. So we need to burn the forest, cut the forest, deforestation to make more farm. Okay, so you end up more climate changes because 1 kilograms of beef, they need to take 16 kilograms of grain to produce 1 kilogram of beef. It's something like us, we human beings, we have eat tons of food, tons of food, but we are about 50, 60, 70, 80 kilograms now, but we eat tons of food. So eating animal-based food actually is considered a food wastage, because it's definitely not an efficient way to get food. So there's about 800 million people in the world. 1 in 10 are in constant hunger and malnutrition. They found that even in the United States alone, okay, if all the grain that used to feed livestock in the United States is enough to feed nearly 800 million people. But how about the rest of the world? If you stop all the grain to give to livestock and for human consumption, we have much more enough food to eat, actually. So meat industrial, all are related to nutrition, anti-aging, contaminations, chemical harmful substance, antibiotic abuse, environmental pollutions. All these are related to animal meat industry. So food, this concept is very important. Food is a package of nutrient. What do you mean by package of nutrient? You cannot say I want a Spider-Man hand and leg, but I want a Batman's brain. You can't. You can either take a Spider-Man or take a Batman, because they come as a package. They come as a package. So even food comes as a package as well. You eat meat, of course, they give you protein. They give protein, but at the same time, they give you a lot of chemical which you cannot be separated. They can cause you a lot of inflammation. They have high animal iron. Okay, they lead you to different type of chronic disease in the long term. Okay, they give you a bad environment for the good bacteria inside our stomach, so you reduce your immune system. Unlike a plant-based protein, they give protein as well. And I must stress the point that eat plant-based diet, definitely if you eat full, that means if you're not in hunger, you eat plant-based diet, definitely you have enough protein. Not only protein, they give you the whole package. They have less chemical, more fibers, higher plant nutrient. There's more than 100,000 plant nutrient which is not available in meat. They can help your probiotic to grow and reduce your chronic disease. Okay. Now they found that a plant-based diet not only help to reduce your incidence of chronic disease, they even help to slow down the progress or even reverse some of the chronic disease as well. In conclusion, whatever any animal you're eating now, the beef, the pork, actually they are just a middleman. They're just a middleman. Cow, you may look strong, okay, but whatever protein, whatever energy a cow has, all come from grass. They come from plant, okay. So they are the middleman for us to get our nutrient. Why not we go directly to eat the plant rather than eat the cow? Because cow, the animal protein have a problem, animal fat, saturated fat got a problem. They got lots of problem in the animal protein. So basically, there's how do we know whether food is good food or not? Food It's a healthy food. They help us to reduce inflammation. They provide balanced nutrition. What I mean by balanced nutrition? Balanced nutrition means you take different variety of diets, different variety of food, and this different variety of food is good for your health and give you good nutrient and health. Okay, so it's not doesn't mean that everything you eat, okay, include fried food, oily food, meat, burger, okay, whatever you eat. No, this is not called a balanced diet. Balanced diet means you only eat different variety of food, which is give you good nutrient and help to provide you with good health. Okay, so those good food also can help you to produce more probiotic, okay, and less contamination. So this is a conclusion. Okay, you see that the plate is not difficult to do it. Half of the plate should be fruit and vegetable. Vegetable should be more than fruits. 1/4 whole grain, and 1/4 is protein from the plant, not from the animal. So we should emphasize more on healthcare. Unless you fall sick, then we need to go for sick care. Okay, so if you not taken care enough on the healthcare, you will end up in a sick care. Okay, so be someone, okay, a confident and vegetarian, be a proud vegetarian. Okay, if you know plant-based diet is so good, so much of nutrient and help us to reduce different kind of chronic diseases. Okay, if you know it, share with someone you know and eat with confidence. Eat with confidence, very important. This below there's a video. Again, let's turn on the video for you. This video actually show a group of people that talk about plant-based diet. Of course, the way they promote plant-based diet is it may not be agreeable, okay, but I definitely admire their confidence in becoming a vegetarian. Let's see the video.
I'm being asked what's a vegan. People talk as if they have a degree in nutrition. They say you know it's not healthy, that's the reason you're so skinny. I said check the FDA and why not read the China study? What about plants? Don't they have feelings when you cut them? Cut a salad. What about plants? Don't they have feelings? No, they don't. No, no, they don't. No, plants don't have feelings. You idiot. This is vegan style. Vegan style. Oh, 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 oh. This is vegan style. Vegan style. Oh, 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 oh. This is
Can we stop the video? After you stop the video, you let me know. I can't see the video.
Okay, the video has stopped.
Okay. So be a proud vegetarian, okay? So I used to think that plant-based diet used to be individual choice. So it's like you can become a smoker or you don't want to smoke. It's an individual choice. And we always say human rights, it's an individual choice. I used to think that, but now no more. I think this is our responsibility. Everyone have a responsibility to take care of our health, even our motherly earth. Because whatever you do in your diet is not only affecting yourself, you are affecting the environment, you're affecting the motherly earth, okay? Indirectly, you're also affecting the welfare of those people in poverty as well, okay? So this climate changes is all contributed by us, and food is one of the important contributing factor as well. So it's our responsibility now. So plant-based diet is a win-win situation for your health and for the planet as well. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Eddie, for providing so much informative information and definitely giving us much food for thought. For most of us, making the decision to change our diet is not easy, as food is such an integral part of our lives. But for all the reasons listed above, we owe it to ourselves to really make a conscious effort and take time to contemplate on how our behavior can affect not only our health, the well-being of all animals, and the impact we have on the entire world. So thank you again to Dr. Eddie and Dr. Carmen for today's speech. So this concludes our session for today. Before you leave, please remember to fill out the feedback form. The link is below the video. So please do fill out the form so we can know how to improve our sessions for next time. Now let us all stand and pay our respects to the Buddha. Please put your palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Okay, thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Goodbye.